Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode 21 of the Vinyl Community Guncles. I am Robert Fitton, along with Richard from Calvin Wazoo, Mike from Hubtunes, and Craig from Craig's Vinyl Plethora. Mike will have our scenario as to what record would you pull. That's coming up. We'll also review Lou Reed's Transformer album, which turned 50 years old last week. Yes. Oh. So that's very, timely to do that. But first, something else timely. We're a week away from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Woo!
That's a...
Well, they've
I've been looking at a list.
It already happened, so we can tell it.
Yeah, they're, what is it, the 17th, I think it comes out?
19th, I think.
19th.
Yeah, but it's already happened.
Yeah, then it's going to be on HBO.
Yeah,
yeah, and I like the party. I think HBO does a good job with it, and I enjoy watching the whole production of it. But the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is just a piece of garbage. I mean,
yeah. Has anybody been there?
I have never been there. Nope. I'd like to go. I'd like to go either.
I went in the late '90s, so it's been a while.
Tripled in size.
So I don't even know if they have decent memorabilia there, or
it's when I went again 20-something years ago, probably 26 years ago. Yeah, they had stuff behind glass, handwritten lyrics, and the jacket that somebody wore. If you've been to Graceland and what they've done to that, it's similar to that. Behind the glass, you've got the handwritten lyrics, you got the coat that somebody wore, you got the shoes somebody wore, you got the guitar somebody played. And they usually have a theme that comes and goes. Like when I was there, it was Pink Floyd The Wall. So they had some stuff from the movie, and they had, handwritten lyrics and a big long thing that Roger Waters wrote for the Hall of Fame to explain the concept and all of that. And you go into these little, and I don't know if this is the case or not anymore, but you go into these little, tiny little, like, 30-seat theaters, and you watch a little 30-minute documentary on this and that, and and it was really just kind of meh. And it's in Cleveland.
So with the way they nominate people, what is your guys' perception
what is the criteria?
When you think of people getting into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and what comes to mind? They should be this or that.
I have no idea.
You're saying it's money, but
yeah.
I'm talking about what you think, what it should be, what the name.
Oh, what it should be. I would like for it to be rock and roll artists, but that's such a broad term. But this year it's getting more and more away from that. It really is. That's a term for sex that blues artists used to use. It's something that Alan Freedman said on the radio right before he accepted money for playing the next song. But yeah, I think there's Judas Priest and
they just got inducted.
Pat Benatar is in there with Neil Girardo, maybe two others. The rest of it is Dolly Parton and Eminem and Sylvia Robinson, who one good thing about this, I did learn about Sylvia Robinson things I didn't realize. I knew that she was Mickey and Sylvia. Incredible. I love that Love is Strange song. Not a big fan of the Dolly Parton remake at all. Not a big fan of 50s. That whole era in the 80s where all these country people were remaking songs from the 50s. I hate all of those. But anyway, and actually is it 59 or 60 that they came out? But I love that Love is Strange song from Mickey and Sylvia. And of course she had the solo song Pillow Talk under the name Sylvia, which, speaking of country music, used to get confused with the country artist named Sylvia. Yeah. Had a hit called Nobody. But anyway, so I didn't realize she was a mogul as well. She started up and ran Sugar Hill Records. Oh. Sugar Hill Records is her, with the Rapper's Delight and The Message and all of that. Yeah. She is, and that's why she's getting inducted, is because of her, founding Sugar Hill Records and that whole thing, and working with people even like the Beastie Boys. And so I had no idea. And if you watch the show Empire, there is a character in there that is loosely based on her. Apparently, I don't watch that show. I know that a guy gets pissed off. The main character gets pissed off at his little kid because he comes out wearing high heels and starts sassing around his little boy, and he takes him outside and throws him in the trash.
Yeah, I remember that's how the series. I was watching that series for a while, and then I kind of lost interest in it.
It's like, well, if that's the main character, I'm going to pass. But I get it if it's a side character you're not supposed to like, but that's the hero of the story, throwing his little boy away in the trash can because he had on high heels and was sassing around. He was a little kid. I mean, who didn't do that?
Yeah.
Put on the lampshade or put on whatever.
Man, I'm looking at the list of people who have been quote unquote snubbed, and it's really blows my mind. I mean, some of them
it's unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, I can all right, Billy Idol. Does he need to be in the Hall of Fame?
No.
But then Captain Beefheart has not even once been nominated.
Oh my God, I would put Billy Idol in twice before I put in Captain Beefheart.
Next on your list.
When I think of people being in the Hall of Fame, I think it's more of, what kind of influence that they have, an impact that they have on the direction of music.
That's
well,
you go to the base. I haven't been there, so I don't know. But I would assume if you go to the Baseball Hall of Fame, you don't see hockey players,
right?
No.
But then if you're going to use that analogy, you do only see successful baseball players,
right? Baseball players don't really influence. I mean, it's more about how many hits you had and your
right.
How many times you hit the ball.
There's analytics and so that's a
that kind of
stuff.
They have initials. I don't know what they are. Your RBMs or your REMs or your PSDs or whatever.
I love baseball.
But even with like a baseball, even with the Baseball Hall of Fame, people still get snubbed all the time, and it's all there in analytics. But I mean, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I've never been able to figure out what the criteria is. It's an absolute joke. Like I said, I love the party. I will be watching Rob Halford and Dolly singing Jolene all night long. I will be tuned in that night when that thing comes out. But
I didn't realize that was from. I saw a photo of that, and I didn't realize that's what that was.
I believe it's from.
It was an all-star. The end of it is everybody coming out on stage singing Jolene, except Eminem.
Joy Division has never been nominated.
Who? They never will, and they never will, even though they changed music.
I missed the name. Who?
Joy Division.
Oh, yeah.
And then you just did a video about them. I believe we were talking. One of the streams we're talking about Iron Maiden. Metallica's in the Hall of Fame, but Iron Maiden. Is not. If there was no Iron Maiden, there would be no Metallica.
Foreigner, not in the Hall of Fame.
I also think an artist has to be or almost done. Like Foo Fighters are in. I think Foo Fighters are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. What the fuck is that?
That's 20 years. But as the list goes on, I'm just looking at the list here, and as far as rock and roll, rock artists that would be played on rock radio, there's 2. And I don't think there's ever been that few before. You wouldn't hear Eurythmics, you wouldn't hear Duran Duran, you wouldn't hear Lionel Richie or Carly Simon. Those are great or whatever, but they're not what most people would consider rock and roll.
Right.
Simon. The Carly Simon situation is.
So it should be the Pop Music Hall of Fame.
Well, I think it's all about it's a business, and this happens year after year, and what they're trying to do is cast that net as wide as they can. There was the I don't know if they're both in now, but there's the Journey REO Speedwagon example that I always put up. One of them was never in. I think they're both in now. But the reason one was in and one wasn't is it's the same audience. Why would you put in somebody when that audience is already buying tickets to the museum? REO Speedwagon's in, so that audience is already coming. Putting Journey in too, it's the same people. So you're going to put in a rap artist so that whole crowd comes in and buys the ticket.
Marketing.
It's all about the money. It's all about getting as many people through that door as possible. That's why we've got Dolly Parton now. I'm sure next year there'll be 2 country artists instead of just one.
And that's Dolly said she didn't want to be. Dolly turned it down,
and it was like too fucking bad. I can't believe it.
Fuck you, Dolly. We're doing it anyway.
Right.
And so she's like, "Well, no."
Yeah, she's debuted her new rock song for her rock album that she's doing because she feels that if she's going to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, she needs to do a rock album.
She did it. She performed it.
She performed a song. I think it's called Rock or Rocket or something like that.
Dolly.
Is that the one she did with Rob Halford?
Fucking terrible, but
yeah, I can't imagine.
no.
Why would she do that?
Yeah, I mean, it was really cool to see her like with an electric guitar and kind of like trying to. But it's not. It's
Maybe
not
she
the
did
fact
it
that she was,
intentionally
like,
to
rocking
snub
out,
the Hall of Fame back.
but the song was just. She's when I used to listen to Chubby Checker and blah blah blah, and I'm like, girl, and that's my queen. Y'all know
And
that.
Chubby Checker is not in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, what?
Wait, what?
I think he's on this list of people who are not in the Hall of
Speedwagon
Fame.
is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but Chubby Checker is not?
What about
Let me
Fats
double
Domino?
check. Let me see here.
Right.
Country
First of all, why
artists.
is REO Speedwagon in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Well, if
But they're
that's
from the Midwest, and you got to
saw
get that
Chubby
Midwest
Checker
dollar.
in a list someplace, and maybe I made a mistake.
But yeah,
The Spinners are not.
What?
MC5 is not.
I
okay.
knew that.
MC5, as far as
Is it
influential, they should definitely. But again, I don't think there's probably another group just like MC5, so they don't feel as though.
The
I
Marvelettes are
think-
not in.
One of the criteria needs to be influential, and it doesn't seem to be. And they also definitely don't.
Connie Francis is not in.
Well, she's not really rocking. She's where the boys are doing.
Yeah,
slow.
but for her era, what was rock and roll doing for that era?
Elvis Presley and
They
Gene
also
Vincent
they also snub a lot of like European artists and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Jan Winter is behind a lot of this as well. The
Yeah,
guy that
I think
champions
he's
Pet
100%
Sounds.
behind
So yeah, and he's gone on record as saying there's certain artists he just doesn't like, so they're not going in. And Foreigner is one of them. I don't know how influential Foreigner is, but
yeah, I mean
What a
they shouldn't be in either.
What?
they're Led Zeppelin for a singles audience. That's Foreigner. But yeah, it's ridiculous. It's a
I
business,
retract my
and it's
statement
all about
about
throwing
Chubby
the widest
Checker.
net you can. That's
It
really
really
about to
is.
get the asses in the doors. That's
Yep.
what it's all about.
I retract my statement about Chubby Checker. So
Oh, good. That worried me.
But
He was
Harry
inducted in
Belafonte is
2000
going in.
but he was inducted in 2018. I mean 2018.
Yeah.
Richard, do you still have the list up?
Yeah. I had.
Can you
A-list
name
up.
off like a few others that just like?
All right. These are they've identified as the biggest snubs, and they include. If you want me to stick with just rock acts or just any act,
Well, the most
Bad
obvious,
Brains.
the most.
has been snubbed 15 times. Bad Company has been snubbed 23 times. Barry White has been snubbed 34 times.
Wow.
Very white now.
Bjork 20 times.
Yeah, it's like
Blue Oyster Cult 25 times. The Buzzcocks 20 times. I mean, the Buzzcocks, come on. Why aren't they?
Blue Oyster Cult is influential as well, and they've
Yeah,
got hundreds. They've got like 100 albums.
The Dead Kennedys, Echo and the Bunnymen.
Echo should be in there.
Let's see, who are some more here? Graham Parsons was nominated 3 times.
Extremely influential.
He could be in there
Iron
for his
Maiden,
production
18
work.
times. They've been nominated only once, and they're still not in, but Metallica is. Jethro Tull. Joy Division, I mentioned before.
So who's representing flute rock then? Marshall Tucker Band?
The Marvelettes.
I mean, that's a
I
whole.
already
They've
said
got
the
their
Marvelettes.
own sound and their own thing going on, and very influential. Again, 100 albums. Called heavy metal by the Grammys, so they could be in the heavy metal category again.
Right.
If they wanted to reenact that embarrassment.
Some of these others here are, I mean, the Runaways. I mean, Jesus, how long has that been going on then?
Yeah.
Well, Joan Jett is in. I remember that because the whole joke about, if you do a song about rock and roll, you're going to get in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Television.
And she loves rock and roll.
She also did a cover of a song called "I Love Rock and Roll."
Yeah.
That's
she hates herself for loving you, but she loves rock and roll.
It's not really rock and roll, but War has been
Joan Jett is
nominated
in?
3 times, but they've never been got in.
Yeah.
Or X. And Frank Zappa's been inducted, but the Mothers of Invention never were.
I wonder if they'll do a full-on jazz artist. That's a genre I don't think that that's an audience I don't think that they're bringing in yet, so I can see that happening.
I'm surprised they haven't put Miles Davis in for his electric
like Miles
years.
Davis or...
Yep.
Well, doesn't jazz have some kind of like...
Yeah, they do. But I'm
well, no, it's about getting people into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Right.
I mean,
so
customers, paying public, not
I'm surprised they haven't put Miles Davis in. He used to open for the Grateful Dead. I mean, he opened for a lot of rock bands. And
then he did a little bit of rock himself, right? With like Bitches Brew and that's
Warren Zevon's never been
that's a travesty right there.
Yeah. And all the people he's played with and the songs that he wrote for people.
Yeah. All the songs he wrote for others. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's about casting that wide net, getting all these different people in through the door, pay the ticket. You get the rap audience, you get the country people, I guarantee you Dolly Parton won't be the last. I guarantee you next year there'll be at least 2 country artists in there.
Here it is. They had Chubby Checker listed here, but I looked it up and Chubby Checker was inducted. So this list may not be up to date. But nonetheless, it really kind of blows my mind how
I'll be watching the party. I also don't want to see. I don't want to see Dave Grohl playing with anybody anymore. Is anyone else tired of this guy? He seems like a nice guy.
I was tired.
He seems like a nice guy, but
I've been tired of him since Foo Fighters popped into the world. So
yeah, Foo Fighters was something that I just never gravitated toward.
I'm not a Foo Fighters fan, and I liked his stuff that he did when he did that documentary, where he went around and he went to different studios. What was it? I don't remember.
Or is it the one he did with his mom? He did one with his mom.
I've seen that one too. That's really
that
good.
Was good,
but otherwise, I'm just tired of you. Who is he playing? I think he's with Lionel Richie. He's playing guitar next to Lionel Richie at the Rock and Roll Hall.
Yeah, I can't.
Go away.
That's money.
Yeah.
Last time I saw him, he was eating hot wings on that Hot Wings.
Richie?
The Dave Grohl. I mean, like you're saying, he's everywhere. He was literally on that eating hot wings show. Which, by the way, that's my next video. I'm gonna be eating hot wings and talking about hot albums on my next video. With the hot sauces, the 10 different ones.
Look at that teaser. Hey, buddy.
Yeah. Should be
Sounds
Tuesday.
Spicy.
Yeah, got the stay spicy. Here it is.
Oh dear.
Oh, look at you.
Official.
Ooh. Hot box.
Yeah. And the one that puts everybody over the top at the end, the bomb.
Oh.
We'll see. But anyway, yeah. I've always thought it's a business and it's about getting as many customers as you can.
It's 100%.
Big as diversity, big, whatever.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, about the show thing, I think people feel the same way about like the Grammys anymore and whatever. They couldn't care less who gets what award. It's all about watching the performances.
Right. I haven't watched the Grammys probably 20 years.
I watched them this year, and I hadn't watched them for like so long, and I was like,
no.
Who are these people? I mean, it's like it's.
Well, they're for youngins, They're the youngins. I remember watching it in 1984, and I knew who everybody was.
I mean, I knew who
I wouldn't know who anybody
that guy
is
who
now.
kept singing? I can't even remember. He was acting really bizarre, yelling. He's some hip hop artist who apparently is a one-hit wonder, and then he won a bunch of Grammys. I can't remember even what he was yelling. It was ridiculous.
Here comes a hot stepper guy.
It's not directed towards us.
No.
We are not the target audience.
I've got my own Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. There it is. I visit it all the time.
Right there. Yep.
I'll give my own records award.
I mean,
I'll
they
count
have
down my
good
own
artists on the Grammys, and there are some ones, that they bring in to do the performances, and it's interesting to watch the performances, and they do once in a while recognize, somebody who is really doing something interesting and innovative. I mean, Beck got a Grammy for. It wasn't for Odelay, was it? It was for.
No, it was Morning Phase.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
so I mean, you know,
which is a terrific record. Absolutely
yeah,
beautiful.
But it is like, okay, who can we nominate that's going to, like you're saying, Robin? Who can we nominate so that we get more people watching the show? You know, and you know, nominate somebody who can sell more records, you
Right.
know, and that kind of thing. It's just, you know,
All a business when it
Yeah,
gets
it
right
really
down to
is.
it. Is Lou Reed in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? That's the question. I think he is.
Probably twice. I would hope he's in twice.
But Lou Reed is our album review this week, and you know, like we were saying, it turned 50 last week,
yeah.
and so if you go to my Instagram, you can see how I celebrated that with a leg shaver. But yeah,
That blows my mind because
There it is, and the best sounding
Glare
version
on
of it.
yes,
That's
the analog.
That's
or
the
not,
version
the,
I have that I
Speaker's
cannot
Corner.
find.
I stole
mine
it.
is the. Which one is this?
You stole mine.
It's a
Yeah,
remastered
here it is.
one,
That's
but
why.
it's the same one. Is
I
it?
don't know. This is the Speaker's
It's-
Corner one.
No, no, this is on the RCA Victor label. So
He was
Speaker's Corner,
inducted
proving
in-
that audiophile production, you know, audiophile records can be reasonably priced. Anyway,
right.
When Craig?
He was inducted in 2015. Velvet Underground was inducted in 1996.
all right. So
there-
who's
Was that
It must
after
have
he
been
passed
a
away?
pity induction because
Yeah.
for him, because wasn't that after he died?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's after he passed away.
Yeah.
So it's like a pity induction.
Probably.
well, he was already
Yeah,
in
well.
with the Velvet Underground.
Yeah.
Okay, so who's first?
We always have a hard time with who's first, huh?
I'll go first. I mean, I tend to go
Go
first,
first.
a lot, but I'll do it. This is a very special album to me because when it was released, that's when I listened to it. And it's a weird situation too because a friend of mine who turned me on to this record, he also turned me on to David Bowie at that same time for Ziggy Stardust. And it was kind of like, all right, so I'm listening to this record as a 14-year-old. I'm also like getting high for the first time. And, you know, it was something like I just never heard anything like it before. It just really, really blew my mind. And then, of course, is Walk on the Wild Side. And so this other kid is like, you know, telling me about these songs. It was only later, though, that I learned that the characters that are talked about in Walk on the Wild Side are real people, that Lou was singing about real people that he knew. And the ironic thing is that this kid who turned me on to this record turned out to be one of the biggest homophobic assholes, you know, in the entire world, you know, card-carrying fascist pig. I mean, he really, really was. And I think the only reason I hung out with him was because he could score dope. So, but, you know, he you know, he had some great music. But yes, all these songs, it's held up really well for 50 years. I was listening to it again today, and I feel like, yeah, there's, you know, Wagon Wheel. Some of these songs mean more to me now than they did then. You know, the like Makeup and Wagon Wheel and Hanging Around. You keep hanging around and you keep doing things I gave up years ago. I mean, it's, yeah, I really like this. And I am going to give it 5 rainbows. I think it's held up for 50 years. I still like
It's an
it.
interesting comment there. I have something to say about that I think you'll find amusing.
You want me to go next?
Sure.
I can go next. So I can't find my Speaker's Corner pressing of it. I have no idea where it is. That's the definitive pressing. It sounds absolutely fantastic, and you can get that for $24. You don't need to spend $150 to get that. And it's absolutely gorgeous.
Nice.
So I mean, this clearly this is Lou Reed's biggest album. I'm assuming it's his biggest selling album. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. And Lou did a lot of really bad albums. It's not my favorite Lou Reed record. It's probably my second favorite. This is my favorite Lou Reed. I think this is absolutely master. There's not a bad song on here. This is the story he paints on this record. New York is unbelievable.
Yeah.
But I love Transformer. Vicious is probably my favorite Lou Reed song. I absolutely love it. Perfect Day. I've heard better versions of Perfect Day. There's other people out there who've done it because it's been covered a million times. But
There's a weird thing about that song. Does it sound like at the end of the song he's being kind of snide?
Yes, I get that too. Yeah. It's a. I understand why it's probably one of his biggest songs. I mean, other than Walk on the Wild Side. I mean, people probably know Perfect Day too, because it's been covered so many times. Walk on the Wild Side, just iconic, that bass riff, and I mean it's fantastic. I think I wow, Richard's doing air bass. That's a first on the
Robert
Guncles.
doesn't want to listen.
So I Walk on the Wild Side it's absolutely brilliant. It's also one of those songs I really don't need to. I mean, I've heard it so many times. I think I read an interview with either Candy Darling or Holly. One of them actually has said she never met Lou Reed, and I'm pretty sure it was Candy Darling because Candy Darling did a lot of interviews and talked a lot, and never met Lou Reed until after the song came out. She swears she never met him. Who knows? It was probably a big cloud of smoke, and who knows? Satellite of Love, another absolutely perfect Lou Reed song. It's one of my favorites. I love that guitar riff. It's just in the chorus. Absolutely great. I love it. Hanging Around is a rockin' song. Makeup, I love. Wagon Wheel. Yeah, it's well, yeah. Yeah, that's it. I'm cheating them because I don't have my record. I think the most important part of this record, and David Bowie gets so much credit for the production on this. Everyone's like, "Oh, David Bowie produced that." Well, yeah, he did. Mick Ronson is all over this record. His guitar work, his arrangements. He arranged all this stuff. I mean, Mick Ronson was the genius behind Hunky Dory and Ziggy Stardust. David Bowie would never even have hit it in the United States without Mick Ronson, and Mick Ronson is all over this record. I think he's the most influential part of it, and it's a spectacular record. I want to give it 5 stars. I'm going to give it 4 rainbows. Sorry, sorry. Yeah, I'm going to give it 4.5 because I don't think it's a perfect record, but it's damn close.
Yeah, I kind of want to back down to 4.5 too because of one thing I'll mention later.
I think New York is a 5-star record, and that's my favorite Lou Reed record. But yeah, 4.5 rainbows. Yeah.
So you're 4.5, Richard?
Yeah, because it is very close to perfect, but it's aged really well.
I think so too.
But there's I don't know. Now I'm ambivalent. 4.5, 5. I'll stick with 5. I'll stay with 5.
4 3/4.
Yeah, excuse me. Could you show me where platform 4 3/4 is?
So you're at 5.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I'm back to 5.
No change backs.
No change backs. No changes.
Changey backs.
Changes.
And now it's Craig's turn.
All right. So you all won't be surprised that I've never heard this album before. So I've heard songs off of it.
No, I am surprised. I would think that you had heard it.
Yeah, Velvet Underground, really familiar with. For some reason, I just really didn't get into his solo stuff, although I know quite a few of his songs. mostly because a lot of them have been covered, like Perfect Day. I didn't know it was his song. I thought it was Duran Duran's, which I think they do a great cover of it. Walk on the Wild Side is another one that Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch sampled it in their song. So that's how I knew about it. But I mean, obviously that was way back when. And I never thought it was their song. Just let you know that. But Satellite of Love is just one of the greatest songs ever. And Morrissey also does a lovely cover of that as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's live, but it's really good. This album has some weird ass fucking lyrics, and I'm here for it. So, Vicious, I really dig that song. I mean, you hit me with a flower, you do it every hour. And then the whole line about why don't you swallow razor blades? You must think I'm some kind of gay blade. I think that's fucking brilliant. I have notes all over the place. Sorry. Just really interesting shit, like Hanging Around, another one, weird ass fucking lyrics. But in such a beautiful way. So I've been actually, this album has been on my list for a very long time to kind of like, because I've heard so much about it. And I'm like, I should probably listen to it. And then this came up, which was another perfect opportunity. And I've played it quite a bit this last week. And I don't have anything brilliant to say about it. It's just really, I don't know. It's on my list. I'm definitely going to purchase it. And look into some of his other stuff and kind of get more familiar. Probably I do want to check out the New York because Mike talks so highly of it. It's gorgeous. Yeah, I really like. Go ahead.
You can find New York I mean, you can find it used cheap.
Yeah,
really cheap.
I've seen it quite a bit.
And if you thought those lyrics were weird, you should
wait till you get to New York.
Okay.
Get Berlin too, because
Berlin.
Excited. Yeah. And I really dig New York Telephone Conversations. It's short and interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it 4 rainbows.
All right. Well, it is also my second favorite Lou Reed album, next to this one.
Yeah, that's a great record.
True. That's not true at all. It's my favorite.
That's a great record. Are you kidding?
Is?
I like that. Yeah, it's got some good stuff.
Love You,
Suzanne on there.
I haven't heard this in years. I don't even remember what this sounds like. I just love
some good stuff.
Cover with him down there with
which one is that?
Atari joystick. New Sensations from 83, 84. But yeah, this is my favorite Lou Reed album, and I think it's a lot of people's favorite. But yeah, 1972. It really it's a time capsule. It really just really takes you right there. It just beautifully. It's a timepiece. It's everything about this just screams Andy Warhol and New York and drag queens and counterculture, and his vocals on here remind me, like maybe of like a Jonathan Richman, where he's not really singing and you don't really want him to. He sounds kind of nervous. He sounds more like a commentator than a singer, and it just really works, particularly for this album. It's got the best opening line ever. Craig said it. Vicious, you hit me with a flower. Oh, and speaking of what I was going to talk about before with Mike and Richard, is I saw a review in the Chicago Tribune. That's why I said Mike and Richard would appreciate this. Chicago Tribune, for its, I think, 25th or 30th anniversary. This album has not aged well. And they gave it like 2.5 out of 5 stars or something. So I think it's aged.
Well, it's a Tribune.
It's so. I think it's timeless.
Anyway.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was fresh. I didn't feel like I was listening to something from the 70s. Not that that's a bad thing, but it still seemed very relevant and very fresh.
Right?
And
Yeah,
kind of
absolutely.
Right. I mean, and it doesn't sound like some sort of relic or something with a bunch of like clipped cymbals and 70s stuff going on or whatever, disco orchestras or whatever. Walk on the Wild Side, like you're talking about Mick Ronson. He is that whole sound with the bass and the all of that. Well, actually, that does have an orchestra in it, but I heard that when I was little and didn't really understand it. I just thought it sounded really sad. Like these people must all be sad because of the the violins and whatever. But of course, that was redone by, like Craig said, Marky Mark. And there's somebody in this house that used to say that was the other version, and it's like there's no other version. There's just Lou Reed walking on the wild side. That's how it is on the wild side.
And the business says,
"Oh God!" But yeah, Vicious, great opening line on that. Andy's chest is pretty good. Hanging around, I love that too.
I love it.
Doing the stuff I used to do. What are you still doing? Hanging around. Go take a walk. Satellite of Love is beautiful. New York Telephone, and then it goes through this whole thing of these weird characters and all these different sounds, and then right towards the end, which most people on an album like this would do it at the beginning, is "I'm So Free," which is this bouncy pop song that I don't know if that was ever a single, but why wasn't it? Why was that not a hit? But it's just an incredible album. There's nothing like it. You can't point. Oh, if you like this, you'll like this album. Right. No, this stands all on its own. And come on, you gotta love that. This is like it said, "Hey, Sticky Fingers, hold my beer."
Yeah.
How is this in Woolworth, by the way? Is that Lou Reed? I don't think that's Lou Reed. I think that's not. Somebody else. And then this is whatever. I don't really get the boxed in thing here. I think that would have been better if that was like, part of the picture. But anyway, incredible. I will give it 5 rainbows. Lou Reed, Transformer. Get yours now. I have a CD too that has like a couple of bonus demo versions of some things.
I'm sorry, you gave it 5, right?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I was looking because you said the singles. Walk on the Wild Side was a single, Satellite of Love, and Vicious.
Yeah, I think they should have made "I'm So Free" a single. That would be. It's just bouncy and pop, and it really just takes you by surprise.
New York Conversation is actually on his greatest hits record.
Oh, I have Rock and Roll Diary, and I know it's got a few from that on there. It's a double.
I think that is the one. Yeah.
Lou is the highest one now. 18.5.
Oh no, that's not it. No.
Oh, I guess "Walk on the Wild Side's the only thing on here from that. It's probably a rights thing because this is era stuff. So that probably
there's another best of compilation too, where Vicious is not on it, but Satellite of Love and Walk on the Wild Side and New York Conversation are on it. I don't know the name of the comp, but
But yeah, if you're gonna get this, I would suggest the like me and Mike both agree the Speaker's Corner.
Okay.
Sounds brilliant, and it's very affordable. It's not
$25 at the most.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I paid 30. Got ripped off.
Yeah, if I can't find it for 25, I'm coming after you.
Oh shit.
I'm just saying, watch out.
So I think we all agree.
Lock the doors, Corey.
Right.
The 4 gay guys like Lou Reed Transformer album. Who saw that coming?
Everybody.
Maybe we should have had a straight person on here to reassure us this is actually a good album and not just a gay thing with Walk on the Wild Side.
Fantastic.
So I don't know if you heard me, but it is 18.5 rainbows, so it's our highest rated album now.
As it should be.
As you will be happy now and shut up about Single Gun Theory for a while.
Oh my God. And there's no record scratching in here. There's no Cabbage Patch rhythms.
That was a pleasure to listen to. I hadn't listened to it all the way through, and it's been a couple of years, and I love Lou Reed, and it's been a while. It's one of those albums like I always grab New York first, or there's other records I always grab first because I've heard it so many times, and it was a pleasure just to listen to it like all the way through.
I love listening to the live recordings, Lou Reed live, and then the Rock and Roll Animal, those two.
Yeah, Rock and Roll
Which
Animal.
I think I finally figured out why they were released 2 different ways, or instead of put all together. Because one album is all Velvet Underground songs, and the other album is all Lou Reed songs. So I think that's what was going on with that.
And that's from this tour. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's
And that's when
great
Steve
set of rock
Hunter
music.
started playing with him. That
Mhm.
Steve Hunter just shreds it on there.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Record Store Day was releasing a lot of. I don't know if they still do, but a couple of years ago they were doing a lot of live Lou Reed.
I
stuff.
picked up one of those. And
I picked up a couple of them, and
yeah.
they're great. They sound really, really good.
There was a triple album one. Is the one that
Yeah.
I
That's the one That's the one I picked up. Yeah.
The only negative, it rhymes head with head. I forgot to say that.
Mm.
Come on. Walk on the Wild Side is an interesting journey into the eras of censorship, because depending on what time you're hearing it on the radio, different parts get cut out. Like, if you heard it in the 80s, a lot of people would cut out the part about giving head. Well, now giving head's fine, but the colored girls thing, they dropped the word colored now. That gets censored. But, so it's like the different, what's acceptable in different eras based on Walk on the Wild Side.
Right.
Interesting.
But moving on to the next album. What's that?
I would love to know the who gave that review in the Tribune.
It's on Wikipedia.
Later. Look it up later, and I'll look it up. It's on Wikipedia. Okay.
Yeah,
I can do that.
But the next album is my choice, and instead of picking one, I thought we would just. This has been so fun. We should just go back into the hat. Craig, get the hat.
Craig,
I got the hat right here. Actually,
Christina, get the axe.
Got the hat.
So these are all people who are watching our last live stream.
Yes.
That suggested records.
Yep.
This is great.
These are the ones that we didn't do. So just pick one, and we'll do that one. Unless it's stupid, and then we'll put it back because it's my album pick.
No, you have to do it.
Even if it's stupid. Okay, we got. It was Shane's suggestion. Yazoo's Upstairs at Eric's. That's
Never heard of them before.
So I'm going to go ahead and pick an album now. Wow.
Yeah,
so we will listen to Yaz or Yazoo, depending on what part of the world you're in, and Upstairs at Eric's, and we'll review that for you next time.
Yeah.
It might be another 18 and a half. You never know. It's another. You would call that a classic, iconic kind of album, right?
Absolutely.
100%.
I've never heard it before, so I don't know. Never even
Really?
heard of Yazoo or
Really?
Yaz.
You've never heard it?
No, never heard
I'm
of it.
surprised.
This will be fun.
Wow.
This will be fun.
Wow. That is exciting.
I haven't heard it.
I can't wait for next week.
My Blockbuster days. Somebody had it and let me borrow it, the CD. So it's been a while. Okay, and that leads us to our scenario of the week. What record would you pull? And that is Mike.
Okay.
Do it.
It's kind of less. What was it? So, what record would you pull by an artist or a genre if you were trying to get a friend into this artist or genre? So, you guys know I love Gary Newman.
We know this.
I love early Gary. Well, you guys know, but the viewer doesn't know. I love early Gary Newman. The middle section of Gary Newman's career is, but his output in the last 20 years, 15 years has been absolutely brilliant. I love it. So I'm going to, and I get asked this question all the time. Gary Newman still makes records? What really? What does he sound like? What is he making? And I always go to this record, which came out, it's 4 years ago now, and this is Savage.
Oh, I thought it said sausage. Does it not look like it says sausage?
This is Gary Newman's album Sausage.
I love it.
You can see it's autographed, and I love this record. This went to number 2 in the UK. It is absolutely brilliant. Of course, it didn't sell anything in the United States, like all his records. But number 2 in the UK. He's had one album since, Intruder, which not quite as good, but man, this is a great record. The videos that go along with it are absolutely spectacular. If you like 9 Inch Nails, you will love this record. He gets kind of chastised for being like 9-inch Newman, which is a whole nother topic. I guess we could.
Wow, that sounds like a topic we can discuss.
We can do that in a different video.
Really? He must have that
the way to
thing
go.
that gives it that swing.
That's why it's called sausage.
Yeah. I'm sorry. The writing looked like it said sausage. I apologize, but okay. You know, I'm not talking about.
Oh, don't you may be onto something.
So
Awesome.
if you want to hear Gary Newman, what he's been doing for the last 15 years, grab this. The other records are also fantastic, but this is the crowning.
When did that one come out again?
Okay, this came out in maybe 2018. I could be wrong. I can't read the writing. 2017.
Okay,
it was a great tour. Great tour.
Where does this one fall? This is what?
Well,
Telecom
okay,
or
that would be the first 20 years, and that's
this is the only one I have.
You got a little promo copy there. You stole from the record,
with a sticker on
the
it.
radio station. Probably my of the early records. That's probably my third favorite of his early stuff. It's good. It's got some great stuff.
I don't know any of these songs. I'll have to check that out someday.
Have you ever played it?
I don't know. Maybe not. If it has, it's
considered a classic.
Decades, you know.
And
it doesn't have Cars on it. It's like, what's the point?
No. It's the album that came out after Cars. Okay, I'm done. I'm going to go listen to Sausage.
Yes. Listen to some sausage.
Oh my God.
So I would introduce people to psychedelic music with the Jimi Hendrix Experience. Are you experienced? I think this is a great introduction because this was basically, well, I heard the Beatles and the Monkees Head, but this is, I remember getting this when I was a freshman in high school and just mind blown type thing. It was like the Beatles or something cranked up with all of the stereo separation and all of the effects going on and all that. And then the great songs that are on here too, like Purple Haze and, The Wind Cries Mary and Fire, Foxy Lady, Are You Experienced, the title track. All of those are classic songs that a lot of people know. Third Stone from the Sun, though, is such a great instrumental. The melody of that, redone by Right Said Fred. Is that the one that... Yeah, I'm Too Sexy, right.
Yeah.
That melody came from Third Stone from the Sun from the Jimi Hendrix Experience, so there's some crossover for you.
Oh, wow.
But, this is... I still think that this is an incredible thing. Similar to Transformer, it's definitely a timepiece, but it does not sound, dated. It just sounds classic. It just sounds...
It's such an amazing album. It really is. It's a perfect album. Every song.
It really is.
I would give this 5 rainbows, but
and then he follows it up with Access Bold as Love, which is just as good.
I love that one. And Electric Ladyland's a little long. It's double
album. I like Electric
Ladyland.
Stuff
on there could probably go, but this is not only a great way to be introduced to the Jimi Hendrix Experience, the U.S. version of this, by the way. But a great introduction to psychedelic music beyond like the Beatles or, more kind of artists that, your grandma knows or whatever. So the Jimi Hendrix Experience, Are You Experienced?
I was in 6th grade when that came out. And we were like crazy about that record at that time. We all, even as like 11-year-olds, we were like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I can't imagine.
I think I was 13, maybe 14, something like that.
When it came out?
When it came out?
No, when I was first heard it. I was born when Transformer came out, by the way. That year.
I was not.
The baby of the group?
Yeah, that's me. Oh, here, I'll tell you what I got. I just love them so much, and and this is probably my favorite record of theirs. And a First Aid Kit, and this is their second album, The Lion's Roar, and these are sisters from Sweden, and I just think they're absolutely fucking brilliant, and everybody should love them. And
they're really cool.
The title track, "The Lion's Roar," is probably one of my favorite. Just I love that song, and I love their harmonies. Emmylou is another good one. They talk about, you know, kind of referencing like love, like, you know, I'll be your Emmylou, you can be my Graham, you can be my whatever those other Johnny and whatever that chick's name is, June. Johnny and June. Sorry, I had a few beers. It's just a beautiful record, and I think that this would be a good. I almost feel like there might be some. Actually, their most recent might almost surpass this as my favorite record now, because it just came out a couple weeks ago. It's fucking brilliant, and I can't stop listening to it. But yeah, I love these girls. They're just absolutely brilliant. So this is the record I would choose to get somebody to fall in love with First Aid Kit the way I did. And it was also the very first record I ever heard by them.
You guys pick such cool records. I just realized I picked an album that probably everybody already knew. I'd be like, yeah, we've heard that, dude. What are you doing introducing us to
not necessarily no, though, because I've never heard that record.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. Wait, what? So, and I actually wrote it down, and I mean, I'm not that familiar with Hendrix. I mean, I know the like songs that everybody knows, but I've never listened to a Hendrix record ever.
And you can get that record under $25.
Oh yeah,
I'm absolutely sure of it. Those reissues that just
there's
came out
5 million of them.
beautiful.
I see them all the time.
Yeah, they're beautifully done. His estate has done a really, really good job of reissuing, and everything they put out is.
I see that all the time, and I'm like,
cheap.
Should I get it?
And hard to stream. You know, the streaming with that comes and goes. It'll be there, then it won't. Then it'll be there, then it won't. You know, his estate, whoever's running that, his family is really very authoritarian with his releases, and yeah, they're very yeah.
But they're
so
doing
just
a
best
great
to have
job
it on
with the
some
vinyl.
physical format that you can own.
Yeah.
Well, that was starting to make me rethink what my choice is, but I'll just go ahead and stick with it. And one of the things that, especially in high school and growing up, that I was really getting into was electric blues. So there were a lot of really good musicians and acts they're coming out then. So if I were to get somebody, you know, into electric blues, because that's how I got into the blues, was with electric blues first, and then I went backtracked and started learning more about, you know, musicians like Muddy Waters and Slim Harpo and those. But a place to start is this record here. This Johnny Winter, the Progressive Blues Experiment, is a really, really incredible album. This is when he was like more blues. He later became kind of a rock blues with his later records. This was more blues oriented. Just amazing guitar playing. He's like one of my top favorite guitar players. It's got kind of a dirty sound to it. So it was recorded. I think it was one of those situations where it was recorded live in one take. And it's just really amazing. Classic song on here. Well, he does, you know, Rolling and Tumbling and some, you know, standards and things like that. But Meantown Blues is, to me, one of the hottest guitar solos that he's got going on in there. And he's got quite a few of the songs he wrote, but he does have some others that were by some other artists. So yeah, thinking about electric blues as opposed to, you know, acoustic blues like Muddy Waters or Howlin' Wolf or something like that. Although they went electric later too, partly because of Johnny Winter's influence. He got Muddy Waters and made a few records with Muddy Waters when Muddy was kind of becoming a has-been. You know, and he got him back out, and there's a good, it's what is it called now? I used to have it on vinyl and then I lost it. But it's a album of Johnny Winter and Muddy Waters, excuse me, together.
What year did that come out?
This one here.
Yeah.
This is 68.
Oh wow. Oh, okay.
I think. It's
This
like
has
this is
Muddy
like,
Waters and Johnny Winter. This is produced
yeah.
by Johnny
I used
Winter
to have
too.
that,
Yeah.
and then I lost it.
I think
still
Johnny
list
gets
From
overlooked
Richard.
by Edgar. I really think Johnny's a terrific guitarist, but people just
Yeah,
go to
I've
Edgar.
seen him in a really small venue one time in Santa
really?
Fe, New Mexico. It was just a totally amazing show. I've got a lot of his records and also on CD.
Is he still alive?
No, he died a couple of years ago.
A couple of years ago, right?
So I don't know what this label is. It's like the IR Imperial label.
It's
Or
Yeah, that was mostly a '60s label with like people like Johnny Winter or Johnny. Why did I just say that? Because I'm holding a right with Johnny Rivers. Johnny Rivers was on there, and
yes, he was.
Ricky Nelson was on there.
Ricky, yep.
And he died in 2014. I'm here to help with Google.
That was a pretty talented family.
I always like Johnny Winter better than Edgar Winter, but
I did too.
But I do like that there's that live recording that the two of them did together.
Mm-hmm.
Rick Derringer is on that.
Yeah, Rick Derringer's on it. Yeah, I've heard
Rick
that.
Derringer played a lot with Edgar Winter, and I love the song Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo. But then when I got the record that is on, All American Boy, I think it's called, or something like that, I listened to it once, and I said, this sucks. The only song on it that was of interest to me was Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo. The rest of the record I thought sucked.
Rick Derringer.
No,
Craig, dead or alive?
What about my dead or alive?
Yeah, don't Google Rick Derringer.
Rick Derringer. Why is there bad? Oh no, is he racist?
I don't know if he's racist, but he's he's on talk shows. So I'll put it that way.
Oh,
like we don't want to know
I'm
about
glad
that rock
I
and roll
threw that
Hoochie
record
Coo.
away when I got it. I was in high school, and I was so excited that I got it, and then I put it on, and it was like one of two albums in my life that as soon as I listened to them, I threw them away.
Really? What was the other one?
It was a CD by Fatima Mansions. I bought it because of the song Blues for Ceausescu, which was a really amazing bluesy industrial type, very much like Nine Inch Nails. But then the Viva Dead Ponies is the name of the release. The rest of it just absolutely sucked. Again, it was like the rest of the CD is like terrible. So yeah, I threw it away.
Like a real Van Morrison Astral Weeks kind of experience.
Wow.
Sounds like.
Wow.
Like a real Donald Fagen Nightfly kind of thing.
Oh my God.
Where you just want to throw it away. Especially after that Ruby Baby thing.
Oh, I think I remember now what was going on with Derringer. I think I remember something. Never mind.
He was with the McCoys. He's Hang On Sloopy too.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. When he was like 12 or something. You ever seen that? There's a performance on YouTube, and he looks like he's about 13 years old singing that. So it's pretty funny.
He was probably really young.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Steve Winwood starting out when he's
when he was in
super
Spencer
young.
Davis group. Yeah.
All right, well, that'll just about do it for episode number 21. We praised Lou Reed's Transformer and talked about Jimi Hendrix. And I pulled out an album to introduce people to that everybody's probably already been introduced to 25 years ago. So.
Not me.
I wish I would have thought about that a little more. I would have picked something more obscure. But yeah,
Rich has never heard it.
All right.
Yeah. No, Craig had never heard it.
No,
yes.
He'd never heard the Lou Reed, and I've never heard this with Yaz or whatever. Is it like
that's the
or something?
One. Yes.
Oh my God, I love how blind you're going into this. It's gonna be great. Yeah, no, this is why.
Yeah, we'll do that next time.
Exactly
we'll review Upstairs at Eric's from Yaz or Yazoo, whichever you prefer. And we'll have a new scenario, and we'll talk about album or groups or artists that you really only need the greatest hits, and that's it. So that'll be interesting. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, we are the Vinyl Community Guncles. Feel free to leave comments. We love the comments. And, you know, always responding. Look for polls, too. We started doing polls on the community page. And sometimes they're opinion polls. Sometimes they're trivia polls about something that will have happened during the episode. So you got to be paying really close attention. You might be tested during these.
Yeah,
so thanks again. I am Robert Fitton, along with
Richard at Calvin Wazoo.
Craig's Vinyl Plethora, whatever.
Mike from Hubtunes.
Thank you so much again for watching. Have a wonderful evening or morning or midnight or
Whatever
afternoon.
time you're watching this.